I wanted to make a video for Christian women about why God doesn't hear your prayers because it's actually a part of my testimony. And if you go with me to Proverbs 28:9, it says, "He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be abomination." So what I didn't realize at the time was the Ten Commandments is his law. And if you're doing Christmas and Easter and stuff, that's breaking the commandments. And if you go to Matthew chapter 19, verse 17, it says, "And he said unto him, Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is God. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments." So there's several verses that tells us to keep the commandments. And so if you go with me to John chapter 5, verse 43, it reads, "I am come in my Father's name, and ye receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him ye shall receive." So Jesus is the name of Balaam, and that's not the Messiah's name, it's Yeshua. So if you're praying to Balaam, you're praying to another god, and um, it's not the one you think it is. So um, the next verse I wanted to go over is Matthew chapter 24, verses 3 through 5. And it reads, "And he sat upon the Mount of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Yeshua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many." And this is your Christmas Jesus. And everyone's calling him by that name, and that's not his name. The next verse I wanted to go over is Jeremiah chapter 10, verses 1 through 6. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, Learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain, for one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman, with the axe. So that's someone cutting down a Christmas tree. They deck it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails and hammers, that it move not. So they're decorating with silver and gold, whatever, painting it up. They're upright as a palm tree. They speak not. They must need be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good. Forasmuch as there is none like unto thee, O Lord, thou art great, and that name is great in might. So they're giving all this glory to a tradition of man. It's really sad. Um, you'll go to hell for that. It's pagan, all of that. Um, and I was doing that. That's one of the reasons why he wasn't hearing my prayers, is because I was celebrating Christmas and I was praying to Jesus, which is not the Messiah. Okay. So the next verse I wanted to go over is Deuteronomy chapter 12, verses 30 through 32. "Take heed to thyself that thou not be snared by following them. After that they be destroyed from before thee, and that thou inquire not after their gods, saying, How did these nations serve their gods? Even so will I do likewise. Thou shalt not do so unto the Lord thy God, for every abomination to the Lord which he hateth have they done unto their gods. for even their sons and their daughters they have burnt in the fire to their gods. What thing soever I command you, observe to do it. Thou shalt not add thereto nor diminish it. So these people that are basically following the traditions that grandma and grandpa, great grandma, mom and dad, they all celebrated Christmas. And when you do that, you're passing your kids through the fire. The next verse I wanted to go over is the other reason why God didn't hear my prayers is because I was wearing a crucifix around my neck. And it warns you in Hosea chapter 2, verse 2, plead with your mother, plead, for she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. Let her therefore put away her whoredoms out of her sight, and her adulteries from between her breasts. So if you have an idol between your breasts, which I used to have one, it was a cross. A cross and a crucifix are both idols. So get rid of them if you want God to hear your prayers. Let's see. Next verse I want to go to is Isaiah 44, verse 13. The carpenter stretcheth out his rule. He marketh out with, excuse me. He marketh it out with a line. He fitteth it with planes, and he marketh it out with the compass, and make it as after the figure of a man, according to the beauty of a man, that it may, excuse me, remain in the house. So that's your crucifix with the little Christmas Jesus guy on it, and that's an idol. So get rid of it if you want him to hear your prayers. The next verse I want to go to is Isaiah chapter 66, verses 15 through 17. And it reads, for behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the garden behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination in the mouth shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. So this was the other reason God wasn't hearing my prayers, is because I was literally waking up every morning and eating bacon, and that's not food. It's not. You can also go to um, Leviticus 11 and read that whole chapter and study it out. It clearly shows you that pork is not food. The clean animals came in sevens, and the unclean animals were in twos on the ark. Okay. So yeah, Genesis chapter 9, verses 1 through 17. And God blessed Noah and his sons, and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, and upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand they are delivered. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you. Even as the green herb have I given you all things. But the flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. So if you read through this, it explains to you that the clean animals came in sevens, and um, the uncleans came in two. And he gives specifics on here of what is clean and unclean in detail. So if you're eating bacon or pork chops or any of the unclean things, he will not hear your prayers. Plus, you'll get destroyed by fire. The next verse I want to go over is in Isaiah chapter 1, verse 15. It says, and when ye spread forth your hands, I will hide my eyes from you. Yea, when you make many prayers, I will not hear you. Your hands are full of blood. So this is the other reason why God wasn't hearing my prayers, is because my hands were full of blood. I wasn't rebuking sin. Like, if you see someone sinning, you're supposed to say something and not suffer your sister sin. So if you go with me to Leviticus chapter 19, verses 15 through 18, it says, Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord. Hold on one sec. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. So you don't hold grudges against people that wrong you. You warn them that it's wrong. And forgiveness is 70 times 7. So if you see someone sinning and you don't say anything, then you have blood on your hands, and God is not going to hear your prayers. The next verse I wanted to go to is Matthew chapter 22, verses 38 and 39. And this is the first and great commandment, and the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. So again, this reiterates how important it is to God that you're loving your sister, your neighbors, and brothers as yourself. Otherwise, you're murdering them in your heart. Okay, the last verse I wanted to go over is Galatians 5, chapter 5, verses 13 and 14. For brethren, ye have been called unto liberty, only use not liberty for an occasion to the flesh, but, but by love serve one another. For all the law is fulfilled in one word, even in this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. So we're in the refreshing of the covenant. So it's really important that you're keeping all the 10 Commandments and that you're eating clean and that you're fulfilling the royal law. And if you do all those things, God will hear your prayers. And that's part of my testimony. So I hope this helps some of the Christian women out there.